You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. You're not the problem. What you survived was real, and it has a name. Welcome to Fuck You Narcissist, the podcast where we speak the truth that nobody told you, backed by science, rooted in story, and driven by one mission: to heal the people this epidemic has quietly been destroying. I'm your host, Tracey Lynch, author, founder, and a woman who lived it, survived it, and refuses to be silent about it. I work to save the lives of women being quietly erased. Every week we go deep, we go raw, we go scientific, because around here we operate on one principle. The whole point is to take the energy you've pointed their way and use it to heal yourself. And to do that, we need to deal with facts, not feelings. Let's get into it. I want you to remember a time when you felt chosen, deeply, completely, almost overwhelmingly chosen. When someone saw you like nobody else had ever seen you before, when you felt like the sun was shining just for you. Hold that memory, because what I'm about to tell you is going to reframe it completely. Love bombing. It sounds romantic. It almost sounds like something you'd want. And that right there is exactly the problem. Love bombing is the first and most critical phase of narcissistic abuse. It is a predatory deployment of affection, attention, compliments, gifts, intimacy, and intensity, not out of genuine love, but as a strategy, a deliberate, calculated strategy to create emotional dependency before real relationship begins. Dr. Dale Archer, a clinical psychiatrist who has written extensively on narcissistic relationships, describes love bombing as the creation of an artificial bond. The narcissist consciously or unconsciously identifies what you need most: validation, security, excitement, admiration, and becomes the near-perfect mirror of all of it. They study you, they reflect you back to yourself, and it feels like connection, it feels like fate, it feels like finally. But it is not love, it is data collection. They are learning your vulnerabilities so that they can use them later. Here's where the science gets terrifying, because this isn't just emotional. This is biological. When you are love bombed, when you are flooded with attention, affirmation, and intensity, your brain releases a cocktail of chemicals: oxytocin, the bonding hormone; dopamine, the reward chemical; serotonin, the feel-good regulator; and norepinephrine, which is the same chemical released in fight or flight, which is why being in love feels like both an emergency and a paradise. Neuroimaging studies, actual brain scans, have shown that early romantic love activates the same reward pathways in the brain as cocaine. Cocaine, not metaphorically, the same neural circuits, the same dopamine flooding, the same compulsion to seek more. Now here's the facts part. The narcissist controls this process. They create the high. They give you access, then they withdraw it. They pull back. They go cold. And your addicted brain goes into panic mode trying to get the drug back. This is not weakness. This is neurochemistry. You were not stupid. You were targeted. And your beautiful, normal human brain responded exactly as it was designed to. In clinical narcissism research, the abuse cycle is usually broken into 3 phases: idealize, devalue, discard. Love bombing is the idealize phase, and it looks like this. They call you their soulmate within weeks. They tell you they've never felt this way before. They make big promises. They want you to be with them constantly. They want to meet your family immediately. They push the relationship forward at a pace that feels exciting, thrilling even. But that, looking back, you realize felt slightly off, slightly too much. In family relationships, including parent-child dynamics, love bombing shows up differently. It might be a phase of extraordinary closeness, of being told you are the only one that understands them, of secrets and alliances and a feeling of being specially chosen, of being needed in a way that feels like purpose. And then it shifts. The devalue phase begins. Criticism creeps in. You start getting things wrong. You are no longer the hero. You are the problem. And you spend the rest of the relationship trying to get back to how it felt in the beginning, trying to find the version of yourself that they loved, performing, shrinking, changing, apologizing. But here's the fact that will either break your heart or set you free, maybe both. The person they showed you in the beginning was never real. That was a performance, a hook. You were not chasing a lost love. You were chasing a ghost. I want to talk specifically to the parents in this room, because love bombing in an adult-child context is something nobody prepares you for. It sounds like, "Mom, I need you. Nobody understands me like you do. You're the only person I can trust. I don't know what I would do without you." It sounds like late-night calls where they are vulnerable and raw and the version of your child you always hoped they would become. It sounds like them needing you, and every parent who has ever felt the distance of an adult child knows how intoxicating this is, to be needed again. And so you show up. You give money, you give time, you give your reputation, your professional capital, your social network. You pour every resource you have into this person because they have reactivated your deepest instinct to save your child. And then they take it, all of it, and they leave, or they turn, and the love bombing phases out, and the abuse phases in, and you are standing there wondering what you did wrong. When the truth is, you did nothing wrong, except love someone who has decided before you even opened your wallet that you were a resource, not a mother. Love bombing as a controlled manipulation technique has been documented as far back as cult psychology research in the 1970s. Robert Lifton's foundational study on thought reform and cult behavior identified what he calls milieu control and loaded language, the creation of a reality entirely designed by the manipulator. Cult leaders use it, abusive regimes use it, nations use it on their populations, and individuals use it on the people they have selected as their next source of supply. The technique is so well documented that the United States military has studied it in the context of political manipulation and radicalization. Love bombing is not a relationship problem. It is a manipulation strategy, and you are not weak for falling for it. It was engineered to work on exactly the kind of person you are, someone with a functioning heart. What I need you to take from this episode is simple. If you look back at the beginning of the relationship that hurt you, and you recognize that intense, overwhelming, can't catch my breath feeling, that was not love. That was a trap, and you were not foolish for walking into it. Traps are designed by hunters, and hunters study their prey. You were not prey, you were chosen, and being chosen by someone dangerous does not make you weak, it makes you human. Next week, gaslighting, the systematic destruction of your memory, your reality, your sanity, with citations. If no one has told you today, you matter. You are not what they said you were. Your grief is not weakness. It is evidence of your love. You survived a hurricane with a smile on its face, and you are still here. If this episode hit you in the chest, share it. Someone in your world is drowning, and they don't even know it yet. They need this. Give it to them. Subscribe, leave a review, and come find me at TraceyLynch.com, because healing is not a solo sport. I'm Tracey Lynch, and this has been Fuck You Narcissist. Facts, not feelings. Until next time.